I am Dr. Savan Didi. Today's topic, that is Davis concept of cycle of erosion, serving in GET Art Science and Commerce College for Women, Malegaon District, Nasik. William Morris Davis. He was an American geomorphologist. He was the first geomorphologist to present a general theory of landform development. In fact, in his theory, he outcome of a set of theories and models presented time to time. Complete cycle of river life in 1889. Cyclic concept of progressive development of erosional stream valleys. So, as the rivers, glaciers, wind, and sea waves are the major agents of erosion and deposition on the surface of the earth. As the river is the most important agent of erosion and deposition on the surface of the earth. Over 75% of the earth's surface is sculptured by the rivers. The work of glaciers is limited to polar areas and snow covered mountainous areas. Wave action is found in the coastal areas of the world, while the work of the wind is very powerful in arid and semi arid regions, where loose material like sand, silt, and clay is easily picked up by the wind. Now, second point, which comes as a geographical cycle in 1899, sequential development of landforms through time. According to him, there are sequential changes in landforms through time, passing through youth, mature, and old stages. And these sequential changes are directed towards well defined and end product development of peneplain. So here Davis postulated his concept of geographical cycle, popularly known as cycle of erosion, in 1899 to present a genetic classification and systematic description of landforms. His geographical cycle has been defined as the follows. Number 1, it is a period of time during which an uplifted landmass undergoes its transformation by the process of land sculpture, ending into low featureless plain or peneplain. Second, there is a three factors: structure, processes, and time play important role in the origin and development of landforms of a particular place. Landscape is a function of structure, lithology, rock types, faulting joints, etc. Processes which are being acting part as agents of denudation, including both weathering and erosion, running water in case of geographical cycle, and time. Hence, the landform will change. Assumptions have been given. Number 1, landforms are the evolved products of the interactions of endogenetic, it means that diastrophic forces originating from within the earth, and the external forces originating from the atmosphere, which is called as a denudation. So the evolution of landforms takes place in an orderly manner in such a way that a systematic sequence of landforms is developed through time in response to an environmental change. Streams erode their valleys rapidly downward until the graded condition is achieved. There is a short period rapid rate of upliftment in landmass. It may be pointed out that Davies also described slower rates of upliftment if so desired. Erosion does not start until the upliftment is complete. In other words, upliftment and erosion do not go hand in hand. The cycle of erosion begins with the upliftment of the landmass, that it is shown in diagram. That first diagram is of the watershed. Here the river which is flowing, and usually mountains receive more rainfall, and hence a majority of the rivers originate in mountainous areas. The sheet of water flows down the slope in the form of rills, which after uniting others, and those form streams. The streams are then joined by other streams and tributaries. A number of tributary streams develop to join the main stream at different points along its course. This main stream is known as a river, and this stream, together with its tributaries, constitutes a river system. So here in this sketch, a river system which is shown as streams are shown, and the mouth of the river which is also shown on the upper side. Drainage divides, interflows, and tributary streams which are being shown. The flow of the water arranges itself in an hierarchical pattern. The first order streams are usually tiny, with no branches, no tributaries. In second order streams are formed only by first order tributaries, and third order streams are formed by the union of two or more streams of the second order, and thus a river system develops over a region, and hence each river system is separated from a neighboring river system by an elevated land which is known as a water divide or a watershed or water parting. Here the flow of the water which is shown from the head water. So high gradient, high energy is exerted. A material which is shown, material which is at the upper part, which is a coarser material, and turbulence to this flow of the material from the upland towards the lowland. So in the second stage, which comes as a moderate gradient, and here moderate energy which is seen, and coarser sand material which is turbulent from high gradient towards the moderate gradient. And in the third stage, at the low gradient, here low energy is exerted, and hence sand and silt which is being dropped away, and hence this is the laminar flow which is to the low gradient. And last one, there is a no gradient, which is the lowest energy which is formed at the last, means inner side of the, where the slope is gentle. At the headquarters the slope was steep, and now at the base, means at no gradient, lowest energy means the gentle slope which is seen, and hence a clay size material which is saturated at such place. So like this way, this is the figure which gives us the clear idea of the river, the material which is flowed, eroded from the upper towards the lower. So elevation headquarter which is seen, means that is the primary stage. Second stage, that is a secondary stage, and at the mouth, that is the third stage. which is a tertiary stage. Yeah, it is also called as a old stage. And lastly, the water, yeah, the material which is erosion which is being occurred from the upper part as a headquarter part, young stage, and towards the old stage near to the mouth of sea, the material which is get drawn away. So here the various figures of the relief features which are seen, and those are long profiles of a typical streams. And here the upland means relief features which are shown over here, and with this the material which is being eroded, and that material drawn away from the upper land towards the lower land. So this is the channel. Velocity of the river depends partly on the slope and the nature of channel, and partly on the volume of the water. Mainly in mountainous areas, the slope of the channel is steep, and hence the river flows with a greater velocity. On the other hand, when the river enters the plain areas, the slope of its channel decreases, and as a result, the velocity of the river also decreases. The width of the valley also affects the velocity of a river. The river flowing through narrow gorge like valleys has a greater speed than a river flowing through a wide valley. The velocity of the river is directly proportional to its volume of water. Greater the volume, higher the velocity. That is why the velocity of the river is always greater during floods, and hence the transporting power of a river largely depends upon its velocity. Greater the velocity, greater the transporting power. So, when discussing to the load of a river, the weather docked materials carried by water downstream is known as the load of a river. It includes boulders, pebbles, sand, silt, clay, and the material carried in solution. A river accumulates this load through the friction with its sides and beds. Though its own erosive activity and through the glaciers and from its tributaries, this load is carried along its channel in different ways. Small particles are carried in suspension, larger particles are carried by hose, while the boulders are moved by river during floods. So the load plays a very important role in the formation of river valleys, as it is largely responsible for the vertical and lateral cutting. When the velocity of a river decreases, this load is sorted and is deposited on its bed or near its channel in its floodplains or deltas. So the valleys become deep and narrow, characterized by the steep valley side slopes of convex plan. The youthful stages is characterized by rapid rate of vertical erosion and valley deepening because the channel gradient is very steep. The steep channel gradient increases the velocity and kinetic energy of the river flow. Increased channel gradient and flow velocity increases the transporting capacity of the rivers. Increases transporting capacity of the rivers allows them to carry big boulders of high caliber, more angular boulders, which helps in valley incision, valley deepening through vertical erosion through pothole drilling. As a gradient of the rivers, a stable stream where slope and channel characteristics are such that the sediment discharge is enough to provide transport for the load. but where there is no energy for erosion, a graded river is in a state of equilibrium. If any of the factors controlling discharge change, the river would respond in such a way as to re-establish grade. A river may establish grade over one section of its course, and this is a graded ridge. So here the figure gives us that the erosion from the upper course towards the lower course, various features which are being seen in these river channels, means from the mountains towards the rivers. After that, these are the various stages which are shown as the young stage, mature stage, and the old stage. Young stage means the upper portion means from near to the mountainous region, which is the upper course, as originates near to the mountainous areas. This course is also known as a torrent course, mountain course. And here the river in this course flow along a steep gradient, but the volume of water in a river is small. The velocity of a river is great, due to which it has a corrosive power and starts excavating its own bed. This downward erosion of the channel is known as a down cutting, and here the various features are formed. Those features are V-shaped valley, a U-shaped valley, a gorges, a potholes. At Bandardara, the potholes are seen, waterfalls. So such type of various features can generate due to this eroded material. Second one, that is a mature. At such places, the valleys come into existence in the upper course of the river entirely due to downward cutting. The graded conditions spread over large areas, and most of the tributaries are graded to base level of erosion. Vertical erosion or valleys deepening is remarkably reduced. The summits of water divides are also eroded, and hence their marked fall in upper curve, that is, the marked lowering of absolute relief. Thus, absolute relief and relative relief both decrease. The lateral erosion leads to valley widening, which transforms the V-shaped valleys of the youthful stage into wide valleys with uniform valley sides. So here the hard resistance of the rock, which are not affected by the agents of weathering. Due to continuous down cutting, the valley becomes deep and narrow. Its sides have vertical walls like slopes. Such valleys are also developed in areas of porous and permeable rocks like limestone, and in areas experiencing dry climate. In India, such gorges have been formed by rivers like the Indus, Brahmaputra in the Himalaya, the river Colorado in the dry Colorado Plateau of the USA has also carved out a gorge which is more than 450 km long and more than 1 km deep, Grand Canyon. So the features develop the upper course of the river due to its erosive actions. In many areas, the beds of the rivers have a number of joints and cracks. The larger fragments carried by the river erode joints more easily and rapidly, forming small depressions. The rock fragments get caught in it, and with the swift flow of river, a grinding circular action is set up, due to which the floor becomes deeper and wider while the neck remains smaller. Such potholes are quite common near Vittalwadi in the bed of the river Mutha in Maharashtra, and at Bandardara also. So what next one, that is the waterfalls. Rapid develops in the upper course of the river due to the erosive actions. They develop in areas where the bed of a river consists of rocks of varying hardness. So the examples to be given, that rivers of the Western Ghats of India, the Jog Falls on the Sharavati river in Karnataka, which is a 260 meters high. The Vinna Falls near Mahabaleshwar in Maharashtra is 183 meter high. The Victoria Fall in Africa and the Nigeria Fall of North America are some of the famous waterfalls in the world. So the river water tumbles down over the sloping segments of the river bed. It is known as rapids. So here the diagrams gives us the clear ideas about the flow of the water from the upland towards the lower land, upper course towards the lower course. So here lastly, the near to the seas, alluvial fans are found in humid areas, and they are more widespread in areas and semi-arid areas of the world. Some of the world's largest fans are found in the Himalayan foothills zones. So here it concludes the topic which was related to the Davis erosive actions. Thank you.